one needs to rouse.
I love doing that.
I can't see what hunger I'm at because the fucking thing won't move around. Oh, I was at 3. Yikes.
God damn it. No.
I would never get hungry.
Everybody's hungry tonight.
First
Like
of all.
everybody. Even Alex.
I
My
can't.
willpower that.
Just push through.
Yay.
I've got so many screens up right now. Yeah.
I am not hungry.
Getting a little crazy here.
I know exactly how to use these. Yes.
The joy of Zoom on an iPad is I can have Roll20 and Discord on separate screens and still have Zoom separately. I'm like, oh my goodness. This is too much.
Naomi, I think. Have you rolled? Or?
Is it rouse?
Yeah, just the rouse.
Okay.
Hunger gain.
Yeah.
A lot of hungry people waking up tonight.
Join the club.
JK's like, what is everybody's problem tonight?
Yeah. Why is everyone acting like one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shade. Yeah.
I'll keep those rouses in mind. Please add your hunger as well on your sheet.
Oh, yeah.
And we are going to open this session with Alex. You're standing on your balcony overlooking the foundations of your great empire being built down below.
Yeah, take his hair out.
Bradford is standing next to you as a ghost, kinda. He's not been saying anything this whole time, but you feel your beast is rowdy tonight.
Indeed. He's standing right there, ready to give me some good princely advice.
He's been quiet, which is also unnerving.
Alex is gonna actually look over and go, you don't have anything to offer tonight? No sagely paternal wisdom? Like in that kind of snarky way.
He gives you a smile, actually, and points towards the door where you hear a knock just twice. See Victor standing there.
And maintaining the snarky commentary, he's going to look over and go, your idea? And then he's going to turn around and unlock, the door, beckon him out to the balcony. Come on out here. The weather is fine.
Thank you.
Unusually so for London, in fact.
Your worship, I have things I want to discuss with you before the meeting tonight. A few points. He pulls out a notepad, just a little book, really, and he looks at you, takes a pause before he speaks, and then says, I think we should consider having Regina Blake close by, kind of like an enemy, keeping them close. It's better than her roaming free.
Indeed. Remind me once more about, she did show up at the last meeting, but just for the sake of my memory, keeping everything straight as our kingdom expands exponentially every night, a little brief rundown on Miss Blake.
Well, as you know, she was serving as keeper under Queen Anne, and has therefore gathered a lot of information about various people and kindred in London during those times. And I bet she has her fingers in a lot of pies, and she would be a real thorn in our side if we didn't utilize her.
Indeed. She is... She came in the ball gown, right?
Tordo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't want to make assumptions, jump to conclusions, but that was where my mind went first.
She had or has an illusion, or I guess it's not sanctioned yet by our keeper, but before called the trunk.
Trunk.
It's a nice drag bar. A lot of very happy men in dresses.
I see. Fantastic. Well, given her fashion sense and her the clan that she comes from. And no doubt the considerable number of years that she has behind her. I'm sure that in that time she's picked up a capacity for witty repartee. And what are your thoughts here? I'm thinking harpy. Yeah.
I think that would be best. We already have a Toreador Primogen, and I don't really see any other role. But
right, and I don't want to kick her out of the court. That might feel like an insult to her. We don't have a harpy yet, I don't believe. We could really use one. Just somebody there to really make those exacting fashion critiques. And
I'll make a note. I'll send for her tomorrow night to give
fantastic
you time.
We can say now that our court is not without harpies. It's becoming more the way people expect it to be. It's a good thing.
Which is one of my points. But the next one is...
One of my points, but you're agreeing with me, yes.
Yes, of course, my lord. I believe we should have a mandatory course in managing elders for everyone, supervised by me, so people would know how to react during your ball. These are some very, very powerful kindred, and I prefer that people know what to say and what not to say, because it could literally cost them their head at a whim. These people are psychopaths.
Or again, at the very least, give offense where none is intended. Yeah, these are people who are, how shall we say, somewhat set in their ways. While I myself am more welcoming of change, not all of them are, and I have to work with these people, unfortunately. So,
I mean,
yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right that it's a judicious decision to educate the members, especially the younger members, or the members who are not familiar with.
If you want to mention it to your council, that I can also have a conversation with them, but I thought it would be appropriate to discuss it with you first.
I quite like where you're going here. Just some etiquette, right? A little etiquette, fork on the left, spoon and knife on the right, or whatever. I'm not actually sure how it goes.
Don't offend elder and die, and keep happy and entertain.
Right, exactly.
And,
Napkins on the lap and all that stuff. One expresses their formalities in certain ways, and these are folks that come from a different time, and I've had grandparents too, and so yeah, they're boomers. I understand.
Well, very, very booming.
Yeah.
He says he does not quite understand the word, but he understands your meaning.
Alex is up on the lingo, of course.
Victor is a bit of a boomer himself.
Yeah.
Next point, I believe, and this is just a note, to have any unnecessary questions about the decisions made by the prince, we should have a full council before the ball. That way, let's say, hypothetically, it wouldn't be a surprise to have a Ravnos Primogen if you also had a Bruja Primogen. Do you see where I'm going with this? So if everyone is allowed, it kind of makes sense, but if you just pick the wrong clans, then they might be offended.
Yeah, I know.
In one case you seem young, and the other you seem wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. I take your meaning, and delicate sensibilities, of course. So I'm not sure that Vaughn actually wanted to be a Primogen, so that might not actually be.
Oh, it was just an example. I know you have
Okay.
a friendship with Master Killjoy, for example, and
absolutely, yeah.
Something of his particular upbringing could be an issue if made anything with power, unless you have something else that's equally, I want to say insignificant, but I believe there's a better word for it. In the eyes of the Camarilla, if you have a Bruja, for example, as well, or
Victor, he's gonna put his hand on his back. He's gonna look out across the city. He's like, a lot of things are, changing around here and everything like that, but I totally respect what you're saying. And timing is often as important as any of the rest of this. And this is part of the reason why, certain positions haven't been created yet. And, certain people will not be cordially invited to this event. I don't think that, for example, Gabriel would mind sitting this one out, especially given the amount of humorless, stiff decorum that might be present in this event. It's my understanding, for example, that Gabriel has an allergic reaction to Camarilla tradition. So,
I believe so. He would be quite offended if you invited him.
Indeed. So, out of respect and out of consideration for Gabriel's feelings, for example, and the feelings of my coterie members and everything else, I think we can actually navigate this scene in the way that it doesn't need to be announced, for example, that there's a rat-nosed primogen, or, for example, possibly a caitiff seneschal, or anything like that. None of those things actually need to be mentioned because they haven't actually happened yet. So,
if I may speak freely, sir.
Of course. Do I look like the kind of person to, tie up your speech in any kind of decorum? I mean...
He looks confused by the notion.
Speak, Victor, please.
If you want to go that route, just be prepared to answer the questions that might arise. Like, where is your... Well, Gangrel and Bruhar are not really anything they're going to consider, but where is your Tremere primogen, for example?
Well, he's
one
right
must
here,
have one.
Obviously.
I'm the warlock. We need a primogen.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't see any problem with that. You're the only Tremere I know.
Well, it could be that London is a bit understaffed at the moment, but there's something to discuss with the others as well, I feel.
Indeed. I agree with your general premise to discuss and make sure that no Elysium faux pas happen, as the French might say.
Yeah, should definitely talk with the keeper about that. After the meeting, I believe we should investigate.
You're definitely going to have to talk with the keeper about certain things. Like, for example, the banshees and the zombies will have to be on the down low. Yeah, we can't have any of that stuff. I don't want any flying tables or curtains or anything of that nature. That might spook them too. I mean, I realize we're all monsters, but there are monsters, and then there are whatever he's doing over there. So, yeah. So.
Well, I'm sure
anyways,
he will. He will be adamant in his position. I believe after the meeting we should discuss Mr. Chance's visions of ley lines and a great tree and everything.
Absolutely. I love Josh's visions. He's such a great detective, don't you think? He really is the 21st century Sherlock Holmes, I think.
If you say
Sherlock
so,
Holmes
sir.
a vampire? It's just like, he's gonna lean in real close. It's like, he's not actually a vampire, right? There's no kindred there?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. It's always a curiosity of mine.
I mean, the author, I believe, was, but...
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Yes, our detective shall be... I'll be willing to have conversation.
And one last thing, just a hypothetical question, really. It's asking for a friend kind of situation. If one were to court a modern woman, how would one go about that?
He's gonna put his arm around it and it's like, well, from my extensive experience, my courtships have mostly been brief and tour bus related. So... Well,
I'm looking at something a bit more eternal. Or hypothetically, I mean, a friend is looking.
Well, that's a great question. And one could even say that it's a matter for philosophers. And so what I can say is be yourself, right? Observe the way I am myself. but with an understanding towards the company you're keeping, and what is important to her, and then ultimately it really is kind of her decision. I mean,
Can't move.
as one great rock star once sang, you can't always get what you want.
Well, you are right. I can't blood bond anyone. I am Tremere after all. So
Right. I would assume, given the eternal nature, this might even be someone of a similar nature to ourselves. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So, blood bonding might also present an issue there.
Right in the middle of this conversation, Darius appears out of nothing, just there, and he looks at Victor, and he has a mask on and everything, so you can't see him smile, but you kind of think he is, as he's looking at him, handing you a scroll.
Yeah.
Sire,
Takes it.
these are all the kindred in London and the area, along with the princes of the other domains. And I tracked down the Sabbat as well. I have not seen their faces, but I know their names.
Excellent.
And there's a kindred called Emma. She lives in the zoo. She's unaccounted for in all regards. Nobody else seems to have any interactions with her. She lives with wolves, I believe.
Interesting. Different. I won't judge. I mean, I imagine that maybe,
But all the names are in there.
Excellent. Darius, I really appreciate your efforts. You are quickly winning favor in my book. This information shall be extremely useful, especially for sending invitations out.
And if I may give my counsel for
Of course.
security matters.
Security and dating matters if you have any to offer.
Again, you can't see him smile, but you think he is. I believe we should, or you should think about Googling Mr. Harris. I believe your security would be quite a lot better if he knew about us and what he is actually protecting.
To hear you say that warms my cold, dead heart. And because I was thinking the same thing, I've been trying out this new power where I plant suggestions in other people's minds, and I see that took. So I was actually going to do that, and I see that you have picked up on that, so that is excellent. Thank you for that. I will do that. Yes, I will take that consideration. We will promote Mr. Harris, as it were.
Exactly. If you don't mind, I'm gonna jump scene here. JK,
Yes.
you are standing in the Tower Hamlet Cemetery in the middle of the night, surrounded by tombs and trees, old monuments, a little path, but you're kind of standing away from it. Albert is there, of course, and he's spreading bones around in a circle while he's dripping his blood. Really drawing a perfect circle with his hands, it looks like. Or maybe the circle is correcting itself as the bones are laid down with the blood. He's mumbling to himself. You hear it's incantations, it's not words. And after about 5 minutes, a black hole in the ground opens up, like a vortex. You can kind of, it's dark, but with your sight, you can see that it's turning with your oblivion sight, or you sense the unseen for that matter. Albert is looking at you and says, "This is the," he smiles and says, "bus to where we're going."
Let us get in then. And JK will walk forwards and just step into it nonchalantly.
You jump into the portal, down into it. Albert follows, and you feel like you're being raised up from the floor. and you're standing in a long corridor with doors, thousands and thousands of doors just continuing down. And Albert, he goes to... It's pitch black down here, by the way, no torches, no lights, no anything. It looks very medieval with the stone and everything, and you hear faint moaning and screams in the distance. Albert goes to the third door on the right, opens it, and you can see into what looks like a huge storage department of something. Again, medieval looking nature with like wood for furniture and torches and things like that. No electricity. And he just gestures for you to step inside, holding the door open.
JK will just walk in, follow him.
You enter a large room with many exits to many halls filled with stocked shelves of various occult ingredients. On a small table next to you, two blue-skinned, about 30 centimeters, 1 foot tall people are having what sounds to be a heated argument, but you don't understand the language. Their voices match their size. They're very squeaky. Behind a large counter, a very large man, more than 2 meters, 7 feet tall, is sitting in a chair which looks like to be it's made from tusks from large creatures, like elephants and very large boars and things like this. He appears to be a very, very dark-skinned African man. He has long hair in dreads, where various trinkets are hanging, chiming as they hit each other. He is plainly dressed in grey clothes, just a shirt, some loose pants, nothing more. He looks up and he speaks and looks at Alfred. Alfred, man, I haven't seen you for a century. And Alfred replies, I've been busy, Satomo, but I'm back now. Satomo responds, who is this Norseman you bring to my store? And Alfred replies, this is my son, JK. And Satomo, he looks at you. Good to meet you.
I'll gesture. Nice to meet you as well.
He looks at Alfred again and says, if you need a virgin blood, you need to tap it downstairs. And Alfred, he just walks into one of these great halls. I mean, it's like 20 meters tall, just shelves packed, and just many, many, many exits from here. He looks at you for a moment, Alfred, before he leaves, and kind of like with his eyes says, are you okay here?
Just nod ever so slightly.
He leaves, and Satomo, he just gets not back in his chairs, but he changes position while he's just looking at you with his arms crossed.
So what is this place, if I may ask?
It's my store. Many great things of occult nature. If
Are you also of our clan, if I may ask?
No, I'm no child of Cain.
Fair enough. Just a collector then.
A salesman.
Well. And JK will just start looking around and making sure not to walk too far away.
You see a sign where it says, if you break it, or it breaks you, you buy it.
JK will be careful while walking around, in other words.
Yeah. Satomo is just following you with his gaze. And he says, you need to know what you're looking for, otherwise you'll never find.
That is fair.
It's
I don't
mostly...
think what I'm looking for would be here, though.
Oh, It's there somewhere. I have all things from all dimensions.
Good to know for future.
The stock is varied though.
Do I know what those two little creatures by the front door are?
Making a cold roll. They have butterfly wings, I forgot to say.
Oh, just occult?
With intelligence.
Okay. 3.
3. Your best guess is Fae of nature,
Ah,
but you don't really know. The corridor from where you came was a different energy from them. Darker, more ancient in a way. It takes about 10 minutes before Alfred is back. Is there anything you want to do in the meantime, or just peruse without touching?
you sense the unseen and just see what sorts of stuff might be hiding here
Make the roll.
with joy.
Four. 4 is quite good. Everything in here seems at first to be sorted by color. The auras they give off. Again, with him saying different dimensions, they might have different energies, you don't know. But you can definitely see it. They all have a sort of a bloodline of themselves, following back to their own dimension. And of course, everything in here is magical. Even the very walls of the building, and of course where you came from. But the entire building has a different aura than all the objects from in here. You can spot a very few things that are from this realm in the store. But you don't burn your eyes out. And you don't see anyone else here, but the halls are vast when you start to walk the place. Albert comes back with like a ceramic jar with a cork on top, and just looks at Satomo, throws him a what looks to be a rusted silver coin, quite large, almost like a medallion, and starts walking towards the door again. Not really paying attention to you, but just like he's in his own mind.
I'll follow.
Satomo says, it was great seeing you again, man. And Alfred just waves behind. You step out into a different hall. A hall made of bones. The walls, the floor, everything you can see is rib cages and skulls and spines. And the doors in here as well. They just look like blackened bone, like it's been into been in a fire. Where he takes the second door on the left, and you step out into your own mortuary, right next to Vara, where the shroud is thin. I have other things I need to get, my child, but now we have a lot of virgin blood.
That'll help.
Tremendously.
Who was the man in there, if I may ask?
He's smiling and saying, who or what?
That's a better question, I guess.
Well, he's a demon.
Ah,
I don't know which kind, but
funny how those keep popping up recently.
well, we're technically not here.
Fair.
He places the jar on the table in the room and says, I'll bring the rest. I believe I should have it by at least the end of the week.
Okay, I'll make sure to keep the blood refrigerated till then.
And if you can, try to keep track of her. See if she keeps being in Berlin.
I'll keep checking. No worries.
Good. I'll see you tomorrow night, my child.
Have a lovely evening.
You too. Is there anything you want to do before we change scene?
I want to make sure that my silver chain is still been untouched, that I put around Vara's body.
Mm.
And then I'll just walk around and do some light dusting and such.
Yeah. Before your meeting later tonight that you know is coming. Killjoy. You're walking in the street, having a great night, just being calm. Maybe you've been to church, maybe not, but you've in a great mood. You're, on this particular night, you feel your beast is very active. Not talkative, but it's just there, and it seems like it's really enjoying the night with you. You know, your usual stuff, hunting thin bloods, and just having a great night out. Where something happens to your left, what do you do?
Look, he's not afraid at the minute. He's feeling very confident. Like he's not walking down the street.
It's your rapid reflexes. It's coming at you at rapid speeds. So you have one action to react.
Duck and roll.
Okay, so dodge. Yeah. I thought as much. That's you.
Just for everyone else's benefit as well. He's probably listening to like, what's the Rolling Stones? Pleased to meet you.
Hmm.
It's not called that though. It's called something else. Yeah.
Making a roll here as well. I believe the modifier is 1. So your difficulty is 5.
Am I rolling Dex and Brawl?
No, Dex and Athletics.
Dex and Athletics. Oh, Athletics is worse.
4.
It's not bad.
Something grabs you. Unless you want to reroll the 2 of them.
That's what willpower's for, isn't it? Let's be honest, that's what willpower's for. Especially... Oh!
2 more, that's enough. You dodge it barely. Something comes at you and you just stop in your tracks and take a step back.
That's why we have the beast, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
And a woman is to the right of you, like 2 meters. She made it in that dash, away from you. She has white hair, blue eyes. She's dressed all in black in what looks to be a robe, but with pants instead of like a dress part. And she has no weapon or anything. She's smiling at you and saying in a very posh British accent, "Hello, cousin."
Hold on. He will remove his earphones and politely pocket them.
Oh, that's the first thing she'll say when you remove it. Yeah. Hello, cousin.
Oh, jeez.
She's standing in a fighting stance and kind of watching you like a predator watching their prey. You feel a weird kinship, unlike anything you ever felt with your sire. Almost like the thing, but it's not the same. But it might be in the same vein.
Yeah, his hands go to his pockets to put the earphones away, but they stay in that pocket near the metal of the gun, just in case. So she is quick, and he's constantly calculating. She's that quick, then she's probably able to evade the bullets, which means I'll need to go into hand-to-hand combat, and so blood will start to begin to surge for these kind of things, and his brain is racing, and he's, inwardly in a complete, conflict of emotions. But on the outside, he's just, cousin, I don't believe I can recall. Perhaps a name would be more helpful to aid my memory, if it's talking that we're doing now.
She stretches a hand out to take yours, and she looks around. You notice the people in the streets that have stopped to observe this weird behavior, and she's just holding the hand out and saying, are you sure you want to do this here? It's like she wants to take your hand. That's the gesture.
He'll stroke his mustache, and he will say, I have a very close friend. I think he's descended from royalty now or something. He would definitely get annoyed at me should I do anything new. But why don't you walk with me into dark nights? And perhaps a lady such as you might be in more danger than she thinks. And if not, then perhaps you can guard and guide me, and we can talk as we walk. I think that would be in everyone's benefit.
She looks down the dark alley and starts walking towards there. The street lights in the street, they shatter, and the lights go out in around 50 meters radius. People are weirded out, but they're trying to get out of the dark.
Yep. A couple of powers start to activate just in case.
I assume you have your eyes on, because otherwise you'll be blind.
Yeah. But let me make a rouse roll for some of these other things. Let's see. Oh, there's the hunger. Hello, beast.
What are you rousing for?
That one was for prowess. This one will be for fleetness. Hopefully I'll succeed one of these. Oh, lordy lord. I've never been at 4 hunger before.
She turns and smiles at you when she sees that you're powering up, but she's just walking towards the alley.
And he will follow. He will say, I have learnt through experience and wisdom to prepare in advance. It saved that prince's life not too long ago, actually, I believe.
You're a survivor, cousin, of course. And I have nothing against you wanting to show me your power.
Uh-huh.
She stretches out her hand again when she's in the alley. Please, I have somewhere private we can talk. I promise you I'm not gonna harm you.
He looks at the veins on the outstretched wrist, licks his lips and takes the hand.
Alrighty. As you take the hand, you feel the shadows around you, it gives a whoosh, and now you're in an abandoned tube station somewhere. Mm-hmm. You're still holding the arm, but the location is different.
Yeah. He immediately gets his bearings, knows where the nearest exit is, and is still ready.
She's trying to remove her hand gently, if you let her. But you have prowess on right now, and she does not, so...
There's it's less than a half second where he holds. He lets her go.
She walks towards what looks like some blankets, and pulls some of them away, like a big pile, and drags a human body towards you. You can hear it's slightly moaning.
He just cracks his neck once and goes, a gift is always well received, especially when one is intruding in another's domain. Are you familiar with those domains, and do you respect them?
You mean the Camarilla? He's just
I
laughing.
mean the Camarilla, yes.
No fucking way. That's not why I'm here, man.
Ah, he relaxes.
No. See, cousin, dear cousin. You have probably heard someone speaking in your mind, I believe. I don't know which name she gave you, but her real name is Irish Hot. She is, she was La Sombra. It's a bloodline that we are, because we are descended from her, which makes you special. It's a bloodline of demon, not killers, but unlike the Bali, we turn them into slaves and use them. We don't worship them. And if we work hard enough, we can achieve demonhood ourselves. And Irish Heart has achieved this, just like her sire Asanil. They're demons, not kindred now. I am Nemesis. I am the avatar of Irish Heart. She speaks to me directly. You hear the god complex and the megalomania in her voice.
Yeah, that's coming through loud and clear. Yeah.
And you, dear cousin, are the same bloodline, with the same potential. I am short of allies. Not that I need them, but I felt it proper to at least say hello to my family, should I discover them.
And pray, how did you discover them?
Well, through our connection. I'm sure you feel it as well. And you do feel that strange kinship with her. And she says, I don't know if you've ever wondered, it's kind of hard, it's kind of like thinking what will other people think and how would they think, but have you ever wondered why your beast is different?
I feed it well.
It's not entirely beast, you know. That's the thing. It's more evolved. It's not just hunger and survival. It has a mind. It's not just the worst part of yourself. It's something different.
Yes, well, I haven't been well educated in the manners of the beast, but it seems that he and I do get along somewhat more positively, beneficially, and altogether admirably compared to most other afflicted.
And how do the inferior tainted bloods, when they talk about, oh, my beast did this, and it was the beast's fault, and oh, no, frenzy. We don't have that, because our beast is evolved. And we're pure, direct descendants from Cain himself.
He cracks his knuckles and contemplates, thinking this over, and he muses to the room more than to her. Well, if that is true, perhaps there would be a way to open up a more direct line of communication. Trust but verify. That is a saying.
I could teach you blood sorcery, if that's what you're suggesting. I believe if you want to achieve what I'm achieving, you should also be tainted by the Shadowlands.
Not really into Star Wars, you'll have to explain what that means.
Like your friend JK, but with shadows and not skeletons. It seems like she's been keeping an eye on you guys.
reaches into his bag and he pulls out his mask and he looks at it. And it is a full red demon mask with black teeth and two twin horns that tail up and back and a fine point. And he kind of studies it, and it's plastic. It's good quality, but it's plastic. And he says, ever since Sykes, I did wonder whether or not this was the path I was meant to be walking down, or if it was simply a route to that path. I will admit what you have said has intrigued me, and I'm impressed. And yet, right now, cousin, I have no respect for you yet. You can't just waltz in with promises and feed off most broadly painted strokes in order to entice me to something. I will need not just proof, but time.
Proof of what I'm saying is true?
Yeah, of course.
Well,
I don't need proof that the earth is round.
what can I do to prove it? You have heard her speak?
I have seen many things that could be construed to be angels, demons, whatever you wish to call it. I have a very good friend who I'm sure could conjure them up, should I ask. Ask politely.
I see.
I do not trust simple senses. This bond of kinship, I am filled with joy and lust, and my dead heart begins to beat when I am around one particular person. That is a feeling that I know comes from other things. If you want to persuade me of something supernatural, you will need something supernatural. More than just voices in my head. I want results, I want actions, and in fact, I can task you with a task, should you wish to prove yourself to me.
I can always just kick your ass, and then we can go from there.
That would be a start.
Do you want to test? What are the rules? I'm not gonna kill you. I need your cousin.
I hope not. I have a test in this fight. I'm going to let, and I can feel him. I'm going to let the beast free. Yes. If you believe he is something more, then...
She raises her arms like this, like she's readying herself up, and you can see the same kind of, the prowess searching through her as well. She's not moving at super speeds at the moment, but you can see the face of the predator, and she's just nodding to what you're saying, like it makes sense.
I'll also begin to activate Daunt around here slowly. I'll let it seep out, and he'll say, I'm going to let the beast free, and if it is true that he is more,
I'll do the same.
then I believe you should live. And if not, then I will have my conclusive test. If you're so confident you are greater than me, then please, by all means, agree. If not, I'm happy to find some other test. You promise to spare my life, I do not do the same to you.
She's smiling. Like, there is no charisma in her, but she has a facade, and she's keeping it straight.
Give me a moment then. And he will politely remove his bag. He'll take his earphones from his pocket that he first removed and zip them up in the front. Take the gun out, take the safety off, look back at her, put the safety back on, put that away, and finally just begin to limber up, take off his suit jacket, and crack his knuckles once again. Are we ready?
She nods, almost bowing, but very slightly.
You're just gonna rouse everything until Hunger 5 is hit.
You're just gonna go berserk. She
Yep,
does the
and
same
he's gonna-
thing. What happens is, I mean, you're on the back seat of all this, but you are very aware of what's going on. Both of you jump on the human corpse together and start draining it. After he's almost drained, you start pushing at each other, like trying to get the other one off the corpse. And snarl at each other, stand up, and then your beast is saying to the other one, which is fucking weird, for a beast to speak out loud. It's like, what are we doing here? And the other one answers in Nemesis is, I don't know, it was their idea. Well, we're fed now. So, should we give them back control? Your beast responds, I don't know, could have some fun. The other one, he looks a bit concerned and says, it might ruin the plans. And your beast just nods and says, yeah, it'll ruin the plans. And then you return to your control. You're at Hunger 3 now. And you have a stain, unless you can explain this away. Technically, you did listen to your beast, but...
Yeah, I maintained a good relationship with it, but I mean, I think I'd just kind of kill the guy for the fun of it as well. But that's not good.
You get a stain then.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not feeling remorseful about it.
Nemesis is smiling with blood dripping from her chin, and says, see what I mean? What kind of beast does that?
Your words may have some merit.
May have.
May have. Nemesis.
Well, Evelyn, if you prefer.
I don't. Nemesis.
Killjoy.
Finer ring to it. Indeed, the names we make for ourselves are better than the ones given to us. That's really what we all do, earn our names.
Truly. What I'm seeking is an ally, again, to discover what we are. I believe you are quite a bit older than I am, yet I have achieved great power by letting go of humanity. When you go down to the furthest pits of hell where your beast lies and crawl back out and gain control, you can achieve something quite amazing. I'm not suggesting it necessarily for you, but it's better than to worry about all those pesky meatbags and their needs and all the things they want to do, and they're just fading things in time. Gives you a clearer mind to see what's really important.
Yeah, I have seen war.
And it didn't break you.
No, it broke me.
Back then, maybe. But you're no sniveling fool now.
to be broken isn't to be sniveling. And
She looks confused.
you mistake what I'm saying for weakness. That's incorrect. See, this is why London, the anthill that it is. This is why it was easy to tear it apart in some ways, as people mistake being broken for weakness. But if you shatter a mirror, or you have a more sharp edges, more ammunition to throw, more hidden angles to come at them from. To be broken is to be multifaceted.
You're not.
Then you can rebuild yourself as the situation demands, which is what I thought you said that you knew when you said that you had been broken down past humanity and then built yourself back up. But clearly you have just restructured yourself as a one-dimensional figure. If you want to go this route with me, I will break you down again until you know what it really means to be ground down to dust, and from there. And
She looks confused by some of it. It's what I meant is you must achieve balance with your beast, and to do so is abandon the path of humanity and find a different one. Let the beast take you, and then return to become one with it. I believe the Irish heart, she chose the path of screams. There are many paths one can walk, and I'm sure one is right for you. Mine is vengeance. Vengeance is what keeps me clear, steady-headed, and stops the beast from having control.
how old are you?
About 10, but my sire is very old. Irish Heart is my grandsire. She is your great something grandsire.
Understand. May I have a light taste?
Oh, me, you mean?
Promise I won't take much.
She holds out her wrist. You can, she's strong now. You feel that. She's, it's not like holding a twig anymore. But she lets you bite if you want to.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna do a couple of rouses here, depending on how much you want to take.
Just a single. I just wanna taste how, what kind of vintage are we talking? He says that my great something grandsire is this, and it's only her sire. So I want to know. I want to get a rough feeling.
Her eyes turn yellow for a second, but that's about it. If you let go. Of course you feel, I mean, she's great, right? She's amazing. Everything makes sense now. You can feel the kinship even stronger now. Also feel something almost as, I mean, for kindred blood is stored in the center, it's not running through the body, but you feel like something is going through your veins.
Mm-hmm.
It's not harmful and it feels very nice and like home. Like it's supposed to be there. And she is quite, not old, but low generation. You can't pinpoint it, but you have the affinity to at least make an educated guess.
Okay. But okay. I will, almost in a brotherly way, put an arm round her shoulder and walk her over back towards my back. And from there, I'll kneel down and I'll filch out a little radio.
You notice she's very stiff as you're walking with her, but she is walking with you. It's just like she's tense.
Mhm. I'll say, this is for if you need to get in contact with me. I am probably going to have to make an introduction for you. That is all right. I think it is best for you to be known rather than unknown, because the unknowns have people like me called on them. To introduce them, but in a far more interrogatorial fashion.
I have a history with the Camarilla.
And I have status with them now.
Well, I'm not gonna say if you can ensure my safety. I'm not gonna count on that, so I'll just say set up the meeting.
It won't be an official thing with all of us. He stops and doesn't swear. With all the fanciful mocking inaugurations that they like to have, it will simply be a chance to put a name to a face and a face to a name, such that if ever you are in a hot spot, there should be some form of safety. And though I am having this situation, no, this situation, I am not fond of the loyalty that my doggish nature is becoming, but I will obey these rules for now, until I am seduced to a different side.
Just bend the rules. You are a god. Do whatever you want.
Opinions. 10 years.
I know one of them that you're hunting. Did you know she's just become Prince of Dublin? One of those people on that special list.
Prince of where?
Dublin?
That's not too far.
No. She's old though. Of course she is. And she's
glad you're
Prince of the Camarillas.
Right.
So I don't know if she's still on the list. But
Well, they will thank me or they will not know. With enough research and enough preparation, I can make a plan. But this is an interesting first step. Nemesis.
can I trust you with something?
You can choose whether or not to trust me with something.
Well, I can see in your eyes that you'll be less inclined to share my secrets, so I'll try to trust you. I'm very much interested in that new tool that the prince has acquired, the Sword of Sin.
Yes.
And this meeting gets me closer to it, so I would very much like to go. It can do some special things, open certain doors. I promise I'm not gonna steal it. I simply wish to borrow it.
See, that is why I love and hate the Camarilla. For the right price, you can.
I'll find the right price then. But right now, I think it's best if the prince does not know about it, before I know what to do.
That seems wise. I don't think this information is useful for me to have. Are you able to remove it from my mind?
I can dominate, but I don't think I can dominate you. Not in that way. I'm not that skilled at it. My talents are more in sorcery, and the other realms or the shadow world.
He takes her like by the chin like this and goes, "It's a useful skill to learn. If you wish to carry on, it will save you from all sorts of pickles."
She's completely stone-faced through all of this. Again, she's a beautiful woman, but she has no charisma about her, and it seems like no soul either. She's not blushed or anything, and there's no... When there's emotion, it's very deliberate that it's being shown.
I'll like tap her on the side and go, "You ever listen to music?"
She stops your hand mid-motion. She has the reflexes you do. And if you're not putting force into it.
That's fine, yeah.
You want to go out, listen to music, have some food?
No, I asked, "Do you listen to music?"
I used to. Don't anymore. I have no need for it. But I still remember it. Some of it being good. I used to play the violin.
Well, that's just bollocks. But perhaps you could use it as inspiration. That's what I often find it useful for.
She takes your arm, and it's like she completely changes personality into this very likable, very human person, and says in a almost taunting voice that, "Do you want to take me on a date, Scott?" As she's looking at you and like blinking her eyes. It's very forced and very theatric, but she seems very alive now.
Suit. He will, limber up, and he'll kind of, he's in a good-looking shirt. He'll kind of move that and go, "Well, if the lady asks, I think it would be rude for this gentleman to refuse," and do the fake laugh and everything.
There's a poof, and you're back in the alley. And if you're okay with it, I'm gonna change scene here.
Yeah, he'll just put the next song on to "Blood Is on the Dance Floor." Very different mood, and he'll walk off.
Naomi, you had a bit of housekeeping, making some potions, buying some blood. So we need to do a couple of rolls here, depending on how brave you are.
Let's do our best here.
You need to first of all, let's do a hunting roll to acquire some Capri Suns.
Yes.
I can't remember what it is for you. Streetwise something.
Streetwise intelligence.
Yeah. Just start with that. 2. Alright, it's you can get it, but not that much and not that fast, and you only have like 4 left in your fridge.
Yeah.
But those are what you have right now. And for you wanted to do a ritual on Darius's blood, correct? To see if anything funny is going on with him. So do a blood sorcery and intelligence at difficulty 2.
I don't have to rouse, or do I have to rouse?
Yeah, you do have to rouse.
Should I just click the regular rouse button or the one beside blood sorcery?
It doesn't matter, they should do the same thing.
Okay. No modifiers?
No modifiers. Rousing success. Oh, that looks weird. It's not rolling all the things.
Oh no.
It's doing the thing again!
No!
Let me try here.
Okay, discipline, blood sorcery, intelligence, discipline, and then the dice discipline roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No modifiers.
No. 2.
Cool.
2 is enough. Well, Darius is not under the effect of any blood bonds. That's the first thing.
Beautiful.
And let me find his sheet here so I can tell you the exact information.
I assume I have it in a vial and I'm just tasting it.
Oh, it's usually you would taste it with a taste of blood,
Yeah.
but you're doing a blood walk ritual instead, where you get more information and doing it as a ritual instead of a power.
What would that look like?
Yeah, I believe it's scrying and into a ball, and it's you can add your own flair to it basically, but it gives you visions or truths about this blood.
Okay. She kind of waves her hand over it and just manifests a spherical object. I guess it has like a bit of a glow to it, so it's reflecting, I guess, images passing over it with specific details that she would be able to understand.
Some of it is also just feelings. Well, he's Banu Kim and he's 9th generation.
Yeah.
He is
Quite fond of the clan.
He is old.
Okay.
And he's not. Well, he has committed diablerie within a year, but you don't really know, because if you commit diablerie on something that's old, the aura is gonna stay longer. So it could be and he said he fought this about for 200 years.
Okay.
So
She looks at it as if it's a resume, and she kind of like flips it over, flips it back, and being like, I guess he clears the police report to some degree. So she kind of messages, I guess texts, Alex being, let me know when you want to know about the blood tasting, or just the tasting. I'm not going to say tasting.
there's a meeting tonight, you know that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be the appropriate time. So
No. It's fair enough.
Okay.
Giving the prince a heads up is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, I believe you also wanted to make some spider climb potions.
Yes.
You have to do a rouse for each, so I recommend just doing one rouse and one roll at a time and see how many you want to make. Because the
Beautiful.
ingredient is the spider, and that's not hard to get.
Yeah,
just roll
keeps it,
5,
off
it'll
the
be fine.
ceiling.
Just roll 5. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Click. Just click a random amount.
Okay.
So do a rouse and another blood sorcery roll.
Okay.
Again, difficulty. Rousing
Okay.
success. Your beast is calm. There's nothing much there. She has actually, when you walk, she was singing in your mind, very delightful singing. She seems very happy and awake this night. But right now she's just chill, calm.
Kind of dancing along as if it was kind of like a minor audio hallucination, but like she's completely like jamming with it.
And then another blood. Oh, you did that before. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Sorry, that's the previous roll. Yeah.
So if Cling of the Insect is the actual ritual, do I still do that in order to make the potion as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no.
It's 3 successes, so don't worry. The difficulty is 2.
Okay.
You make 1 potion. Do you want to keep going?
And I still have to rouse again?
Mm-hmm. Each time. And make a new
What do
roll.
you think, guys? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay. We're doing a Vaughn tonight.
Hunger gain.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe that takes you to what?
4.
4. Oh.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
not doing any more than this.
Hunger gain. Make another roll.
She feels the compulsion of her stomach, just like suddenly her abdomen ache as she's like squishing the spider, like smashing it into the like vial.
Oh my goodness.
Get in there, little fucker.
Yeah.
2 is enough.
Okay.
Fortunately, with 4 red dice.
That must be fun to roll.
You make another potion. You almost can't hear yourself think right now because the beast is singing so loud in your head.
Yeah,
She's very happy right now, but also she stops all of a sudden with her singing, and you're compelled to look at the fridge with the last 4 blood bags. You really wanted to bring them on the journey tonight, but shouldn't you at least have half of it? Maybe all, maybe half. It's up to you, she says.
So knowing that if she even really wanted to, she could have days old blood. She takes one, she puts it on the counter, she kind of stares at it, and then just smashes it into her face and drains it almost instantly.
You get 1 bag from each one you take. How many bags do you want to consume right now? It's quite hard to stop right now.
Yeah, she's kind of like grabbing onto her head because she knows like it's almost like the pounding of almost like the bass in like EDM or metal music, just like kind of gnawing at her head. Like if you just, she talks to her inner beast. She's like, if you can tone it down for 5 seconds, I'll give you a treat.
Well, my treat was for you to kill father. You still have not done that yet. I think you're quite lazy and lax in this regard.
We've been this over again. If we could have nightmare, we probably would. We already have one father to deal with. Why do we have to deal with this second one? I've told you this.
It's easy. Just call him. Book a plane. Get him over here. I'm sure he'll love to see the daughter that's been missing for so many years now.
That's what the last one said. She kind of texts him quickly, and because she's so annoyed by the earworm that's stuck in her head, that she's smashing the buttons, and it's like, hey, all caps, no exclamation point, sends it to him, it slams the phone on the table, and then just like takes the spider potions and kind of puts in her bag. And obviously like she just like really kind of wanting to grab the fridge too, but like kind of holding herself back because she knows that like her one, as minimalistic as she likes to be, blood is non-negotiable in the game of being a vampire.
So do you leave it at 3 hunger?
Do I leave it at 3 hunger? No, she likes to smash another one down.
Right.
But this time she's a little bit, she actually puts a straw in it this time. And then just takes sips of it in her living room as if it's like a candy bar at like 3 a.m.
So you have your last 2 bags left, and you don't know when another shipment is coming.
Yeah, she begrudgingly puts it in her bag, and she's like, you better be on your best behavior, beast.
Always, darling, always. Is there anything you want to do before we jump scene?
Yeah, I guess she just kind of goes around her house, makes some journal notes based on, she actually keeps this very specific journal based on her events of eating said blood and tasting it, and keeps a full record of every single detail she can gather. If in the future she has another opportunity to add more to it, more like an investigation. But beyond that, she kind of like lovingly kind of like plays patty cake with her plant because she's in a good mood after eating.
Fair enough. Vaughn, my man. You're on a rooftop. Of course you are on a rooftop. Where else would you be? But this is not just a rooftop. This is the rooftop. You're with Benjamin at the moment. And I want to ask you a question as a player. I know you have experience enough for it. Do you want to buy the Eat Food merit?
Ooh.
Because you have been trying to drink so much. And actually, Benjamin keeps insisting that if you just continue doing it, you will eventually taste it.
I think I would.
You would? Then you are having the time of your life on this rooftop with Benjamin. Drinking.
Am I able to absorb the alcohol?
No, not, but you can taste it.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
But you have Scarlet's tea for that, really. But this is, you can stomach it. And it feels on top of all the bad things that happened with the beast and the remorse and hitting someone with a car, and you know, this feels more human, like what you're supposed to do. Make people happy, make yourself happy. Your beast is very happy with you, and Benjamin is having an amazing time as well. A raven lands next to the chimney that your guys are sitting around on this rooftop, and squawks at you. You've seen this raven before.
I would like to use Feral Whispers,
Yes,
which I think that requires a rouse, I'm pretty sure.
it does.
Alright, here we go. Come on. Yeah.
Rousing success.
It's gonna be a good night.
You did an Alex.
Who else is cursed?
Yeah.
I love how it's a spectrum now. Alex, Devon, where do you fall?
But
So,
it says something is, and it's relaying a message, you can clearly tell. Something is squawking weird all over the city. The nature is out of balance. Ask your people about it.
and do I understand this is a message from Marcus?
Yeah.
Or this is coming from, okay.
Yeah, this is the raven you told Marcus to send messages through, and you built it a nice nest and everything.
Mm-hmm. And Vaughn goes over to the raven, pulls out a little bit of like seed, a little bit, gives him to. It's like, well done, Mugen. You can go back home now, right?
It tucks itself into his nest on top of the chimney that you've built for him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
Benjamin's just looking at the whole thing, smiling, and he understands you're squawking to each other as well, of course. And speaks to you in Raven and says, "What was that about?" So it's just two men going squawk, 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 squawk to each other on a rooftop. If you want to continue his bullshit.
I've made a new friend recently. Maybe I'll introduce you sometime. But I'd like to keep it on the down low.
Well, you do have a lot of friends, my brother.
Oh yes, and this one is a particularly interesting one. A bit too interesting, if you catch my drift. So,
Why is that?
why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
Very unorthodox, and that is all I will say on the matter. Do not ask me anymore.
Ooh,
There's another
dangerous. I
ring.
see.
Down some more vodka. You know, I'm really coming around to this. It's like a muscle you keep flexing and it gets stronger. Is that what it is? You know, being able to taste it and whatnot.
I don't know. A psychological block, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, either way, thank you. This is not bad. It reminds me of when we go into port back in the day. Anyway, there's something going on right now.
Yeah, what's this balance it's referring to? You're speaking to druids or something, man?
Not far off, apparently. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of investigation. Something's up.
Well, it's
If
not.
not us, then I'm afraid it could be someone else.
I'm not sure if fucking with nature is a good thing.
Never is.
The bird
Alright.
squawks in recognition of your words.
He's been picking up on this whole conversation.
No, you're speaking in bird.
Yeah.
No.
And then Vaughn is just like, I think I need to get going. But thank you for this. I really do appreciate this.
You heading to that meeting?
But I'd like to do Feral Whispers again, and I'd like to.
You don't have to re-rouse it.
Oh, I don't have to rerouse.
No, your
I'd like.
speaking power is activated, but if it's for control, then it's one roll and command is another.
I'd like to summon. So I finish with Benjamin, and then I'm like, take care, man. and be safe. And I jump off the roof, make my ways a little bit towards like the Thames to like a more remote area, a place that's a little bit more wide open, and I'd like to summon like as many like birds as I can to me from the surrounding area.
I believe that's charisma, correct? An animalism?
I believe so. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have a Snow White moment.
Let's see how many birds.
Birds are extremely social.
And ravens are quite smart. Maybe you'll get some annoying pigeons. Who knows?
Maybe. So, if I'm gonna use charisma and then plus the discipline. So I'll do charisma. And then
3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 pigeons arrive.
Have you noticed anything strange going on? Something like me, and I kind of like flash a little bit of the fangs, let the skin sallow a little bit, become pale. What's going on?
They
I've been told that
walk around a bit, bobbing their heads, and one of them looks at you and says, "All the time."
Any more of us recently than you're not used to?
They look at each other, they're a bit confused, and says, "The ugly one controls us."
Oh. I see.
Through the big pigeon. Very big pigeon. They can't do the motion, but you can...
Alright. Alright. I understand. And he reaches in his pocket and gives them some seed. It's like, give him my regards, alright?
They bob their head, they eat the seeds, and they just sit there and look at you. They don't take off. They seem comfortable in your company.
And then Vaughn just sort of like sits there and thinks for a second. And there's the meeting tonight, right?
You're quite close. Alex is, I want to call it city block by now, is quite close to the Thames. And his tower is actually overlooking it.
Okay. Vaughn just kind of looks out over the water for a moment and then just closes his eyes for a moment. And he, not saying that he knows he can't do it, most likely, but he's just trying to feel that connectedness that he felt when he ate the sap. And he's trying to feel the world around him.
Do a wits and occult. Or resolve. It's actually up to you. Instead of wits.
I think my wits is higher.
Do you want to rouse?
You know what? I do. I think that'd be interesting.
The beast is happy. He's always willing to help you out, get a bit more dice, you know? Just do some rouses, spend some willpower. Don't need it anyways.
Damn. So, and then that is...
A hunger?
Yep, and I went ahead and added it. And then that is 2 extra dice with the rouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Rousable.
You feel like you're trying to meditate. And depending on the roll, maybe successfully, but you are definitely having an energetic feeling from the beast. 4. You're not that far away, so it's you feel Alex's entire building like a shining light in the middle of vast darkness. It's the only thing you feel right now as you're focusing on it. You know exactly where it is. You can't focus on the shape or the size or really see it, but you know its presence, calling to you like a beacon.
Okay. And Vaughn just opens his eyes, looks around, and takes one more swig of the vodka, puts it into a bin, the bottle into a bin, and then just puts his hands in his pockets and walks towards Alex's building.